we see in the data that the Gen Zers want to be in the office. When we were coming out of COVID, they were the generation who were saying, we want to be in the office. And it aligns with the data that also says they want to be coached. You are a guy who's built a coaching dynasty. You've helped so many people. I think what's weird is there's an opportunity for leaders to take advantage of the helicopter parenting. In other words, we've helicoptered so much that they crave instruction.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity for leaders not to be frustrated by that, but to actually step in and instruct them. Yeah. I want to know your thoughts on that.
Oh, you're right on. I mean, you're right on. I just say amen. Like, I have millennials and Gen Zers as kids, and our house has always been the hub. Like, it would not be uncommon when my kids were in high school for us to have 80 kids over at our house. And Mr. B is my name in San Diego. So, Mr. B, what about this? And Mr. B, what about that? And so I'm very hopeful with Gen Zers. Like, these kids really seem to have their heads screwed on. And there's a lot of good stuff there. Millennials, the most maligned generation of all time. People my age, you guys and whatever else. Your pants are too tight, your coffee's too strong. All that stuff. And but they're trying to figure out their way right now. One of the biggest challenges, I'm going to tell you right now, in this whole mix, we're about to have the single largest transfer of wealth in history. $80 trillion in asset is going to pass in the next 20 years. I think one of the biggest crises we're going to face is people inheriting tons of money and blowing it.
Yeah, not knowing what to do with it.
Not knowing what to do with it. We're going to see people who are tortured. And by the way, they say better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. Better to have always been broke than inherit a bunch of money and go broke.
Yeah.
That is, the guy said, hey, he made a small fortune in real estate. Why? He started with a big one. So you got to watch it. And so we're about to see that. That's all in this soup as well.
Yeah.
But I think they want coach and they want to improve. To really put a funny anecdote on what you said, I noticed the change when I saw all my kids' friends' favorite show was The Office.
Yeah.
They're going to school and everything is political correctness. You can't say this, you can't say that. They're very aware. They're aware of what they can and can't say. They mind their P's and Q's. But then they'd watch The Office, which is horribly unpolitically correct. And they'd, and all their kids. And they started sending this out because it was like, and so when the pendulum swings too far, the pendulum swings back.
Yeah.
These kids are going to be fine.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go to a question right here.
Great, thanks. So my oldest son, 1 year active duty Marine, watched him graduate last year, which gave me a lot of hope, by the way, for this next generation of people who are raising a hand to serve. Oftentimes I think about what advice I would give to myself, my 20-year-old self. If you could just give my 20-year-old E2 United States Marine the best possible advice to set him up for success, what would that be?
I think, I had two great parents. My mom just passed here recently. I had two great parents who also weren't fully equipped for the job. Just like I'm and my bride are not fully equipped for the job. And that's where faith comes in. That's where growth comes in. That's where mentors come in. We're all born a half cup short. And, just to constantly seek to grow, to become the person you were designed to be. That is the single best advice. And I think that's the same way when he finds a mate, Lord willing. It's just, pursue that growth your whole life. We're all flawed. We're designed as human beings. And then we're all helpful. This man's helped me for years. And because he does things, I'm a stage guy. I know how to act on stage and speak on stage and present on stage. And Ken's a master of interviews. And so when I started a podcast, I went to someone who's a master at interviewing to ask for advice. And so we're all a half cup short. And so just keep growing and keep searching. And then you find other people. They got the other hand of the half you need at the minute. And if he does that when he's 20, by the time he's 60, you'll have had kids and grandkids and great-grandkids that are smashing people,